Okay, so welcome back. This is video number 2, and this is the platform. So before we get started, it's crucial that we're on the same page. Now, I know you're excited about learning how to use Pinterest to get amazing amounts of high quality traffic, but to ensure that your success is going to be high, we want to make sure that you're hitting or at least close to the bullseye. What do I mean by that? So if you can imagine a bullseye or a dartboard and you're trying to aim for the center bullseye. So that's what we're talking about here. Now, you see, before you can get traffic from Pinterest, you need to understand how it works and how it's different from other social media platforms. A lot of people tend to make the mistake of assuming that Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram and all the other social media platforms are the same. So we don't want that. We want to make sure that you understand how Pinterest works. That way you can understand what types of people are going to Pinterest, what they're looking for, what is the culture. And if you understand that, it's going to be easier to help you communicate with these types of people. So it's very different. It's kind of like walking into a formal business meeting and assuming that they're your friends. Well, obviously, the way that you would treat your friends would be very different from how you would interact people in this formal business meeting. Or say you go to a place that you don't know the culture. Understanding the culture is going to be good for you because that way you're not going to offend somebody. That way you don't do something that is totally out of norm. You do something in the sense that it will gain their trust at a much faster rate. So that's why we have this particular video, because it's very overlooked in terms of not knowing how things work. So same thing. So I want you to reset any assumptions that you have about Pinterest or even any strategies that you've learned over the years about Pinterest. Reset that in your brain. Assume that you don't know anything, because that way, when it comes to learning the strategy that is built into this video course, it's going to be a lot easier for you in the long run. So what we've seen over the years is a lot of times when you come in with these assumptions, they actually create roadblocks in your mind. So that's the whole goal of this kind of exercise. So go ahead right now, start from a clean slate, and you'll do just fine. Now, first, according to HubSpot.com, about 40% of people respond better to visual information than plain text. Now, if you know about Pinterest, you know it's all about images. It's all visual information that is what grabs people in. So when you think about Pinterest, when they're looking through images, they find an image that catches their eye, they click on it, and they get sent to an article. So you want to make sure that your article on the other side also has a lot of visual information and visual content as well. So you don't want to send people from an image directly to an article that is full text. You want to send people directly from the image directly to the content that is filled with either tons of images or videos with visual content as well. So the reason for that is that people's attention spans are just getting shorter and shorter. So you need a quick and fast way to keep them from scrolling or exiting the page or leaving your site. And that's why Pinterest is so powerful, because when it comes to visual information, it grabs people in, it gets them really addicted to the social media platform. So let's talk about what Pinterest is all about. So Pinterest is a place in basics for people in different niches to organize and share their discoveries through what we call a Pinterest board. So obviously, if you've used Pinterest before, you know what I mean. We have different boards that hold different images. So as you can imagine, boards that are extremely specific are often high converting. Okay, so let me give you an example of a generic board versus a highly specific Pinterest board. So a generic board would be something like a desserts board. So you would have everything from like cupcakes, diet cookies, low sugar cookies, maybe gluten-free cakes or bundt cakes or anything like that. The problem with that is it's too generic. Now, that might be okay if your site is a high authority site and it's got a bunch of different things in a different area. Or if it's something specific like maybe basketball board. And while that might work quite well, it will work even better if you have a very specific board. So what we've noticed over the years is very specific boards such as, let's say, low sugar diet desserts, or even more specific, low sugar cupcakes. So for folks that are on a maybe low sugar or even no sugar diet, they're going to be very interested in this because when they're on this diet, they are eating literally vegetables and things that they're not really eating any cakes or anything like that. And maybe they're doing that for health reasons. And because of that, they are desperate for low sugar desserts. All right. So maybe that's the type of person that you want to attract. So when they click over, they see an article that says maybe you're on a diet, maybe you're doing this for health reasons, but that doesn't mean that you can't eat desserts. And here's a bunch of recipes, and maybe you can get them to opt in to your email list and maybe subscribe, you build a relationship, and then you sell them later on. But that's how you can essentially attract people who are in a very specific frame of mind. And that is how you will be able to convert people better on Pinterest. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to dive in a lot more depth in the future videos. But this is kind of more of an overarching view of what we'll be talking about later on. Now, in terms of Pinterest boards, I want you to note the keyword, which is organization. So that's the big thing about Pinterest that really differentiates between all the other social media platforms. You see, not many social media sites allow you to easily organize content except for really Pinterest. So it's a great place for people who want to learn how to do something to literally organize everything into a board. So if somebody is interested in low sugar cakes, they're going to go there and they realize, oh, wow, I can make this, I can make that, I can make this. And you've got so many recipes that people are interested, they click over and they really get hooked on your board. Now, you could, if you wanted to, create a board of different recipes from either from you, from other competitors, and that's fine. Or you could create a board with all of your recipes on there. So in other words, this is a place where a lot of DIYers go. Now, if you don't know what DIY stands for, it's do it yourself. So people who want to look for recipes, they want to create food, they want to look at projects, maybe home projects, they want to see how to do something, they're most likely inclined to want to buy something, if that makes sense. So as you would guess, Pinterest is the place to go from sharing everything from images, videos, content in order to actually do these projects. Whereas on the other hand, if you think about Facebook, for example, a lot of people are there because they want to know what is going on with their friends and family. They're not really there to necessarily learn. So it's a very different platform and a very different culture and a very different mindset. Now, let's be frank and say that Facebook, while Facebook is great, it's not great for organization. In fact, if you think about it, anytime you create a post of an image or a video, it can easily get lost into the feed as time passes on. And even if you think about Facebook groups, for example, you'll notice that even groups are very, very hard to organize. If somebody posts a post, a lot of times in a Facebook group as well, or even a page, it will eventually go down and it's not really a great place to organize. So Pinterest is great for planning, getting inspiration, organizing, and ultimately implementing, which is usually where the purchase happens. So remember, people are going to Pinterest because they're looking for inspiration. They're looking to organize their house. They're looking to learn something. And if learning something usually leads to buying something, you think about people are looking through recipes. They're going to have to buy food, right? And ingredients to make the food. Or they're looking at home projects. Let's say, for example, how to paint a room. They're eventually going to need to buy paint. They're going to need to buy blueprints on how to go about that, how to build boxes or kits and gadgets or crafts. They're going to have to go and buy things. So imagine that. Keep that in the back of your mind and understand that people are there to buy. So in hindsight, 2020, you realize that Pinterest can really produce a lot of sales if done right. So that's why we're going to break things down in the next few videos in terms of the funnel and how your marketing campaigns need to be set up. So with that said, let's move on to video number 3.